to do another demonstration of using the switch structure. And this time I'm going to create a project as a Windows Form app, and we're going to have it display one of 5 different images based on which button the user pushes. So I simply have named my project Switch Image Demo. I'm going to create that. I'm going to change the size of my form to 600 by 380. And I'll set the text to Switch Image Demo. I want to bring in some images into a picture box, or for a picture box. And to do that, I'm going to create a resource folder. But before I do that, let's go into Canvas and copy some images down from Canvas. So I'm in our course website. I'm going to go into the modules area. I'm going to come down to Unit 3 on conditional structures. And here there is a file called Switch Demo Photos. It's a zip file. I'm just going to click on that to open it, and then I can download the zip file. Choose where I want to put it. And then I'm going to unzip that. And there are the 5 images that I want to use. Okay, so I just remember where it's at. It's in my data SMCC folder. I'm going to close those windows. I'm going to go back to Visual Studio. And I'm going to right click on my project here and choose Add New Item. Now it's going off screen here. You're not going to see this, but that of course brings up our Add New Item demo dialog box. And I'm going to go down to the resources. So I'm going to create a new resources folder, and I'm just going to call it images. It's going to have a .resx extension. I'm going to add that to my project. And then here I'm going to choose to open up some images and choose Add Resource. And I'm going to add existing files. And I'm going to go find those images that I downloaded. So here's my Switch Demo Photos. I'm going to take those 5 images. I'm just going to select all of them and say Open. And there they are. Desert 400, Koala 400, Lighthouse 400, Penguins 400, and Tulips 400. I'm going to close my resources file and choose to save it. Each of those images were 400 pixels wide by 300 pixels high. And so I'm going to take a picture box. Just going to create a picture box, and I'm going to change the properties of that picture box so that the size is 400, 300. I'm going to position that in place over here on the right hand side. Kind of equidistance between all my margins. I'm going to use the arrow keys on the keyboard, just nudge it down a little bit. And let's name this Pick Image. And I'm going to put a little border around it. Fixed single border. Now let's create some buttons here. So I'm going to create a button. The text of my button is going to be Desert. And I'm going to name that BTN Desert. And then I'll copy the button, paste it. This one will be BTN Koala. And I'll set the text to Koala. Paste again. This one's, the text is going to be Lighthouse. And the name will be BTN Lighthouse. Paste a 4th one. This will be named BTN Penguins. And the text will be Penguins. And then finally, paste one more. This is our 5th button. Text is tulips. And it will be BTN tulips. I'm going to take those 5 buttons, selecting all 5. We're going to go to the events area of our properties. And for the click event, I'm going to add a method called show image. Press the enter key, and there's my show image. Now we have this object sender, which is going to be the button that was clicked. So I'm going to create a button. I'm just going to call it XYZ, and it's going to I'm going to cast sender as a button. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm guaranteeing that the sender object in this case is going to be a button, and we're going to reference it as XYZ. Now we're going to do a switch case. So switch, I want XYZ dot text. What is the caption of the button that was clicked? That's what we're going to look at. Do my curly brackets, and in case, well, if it's desert, and a good practice here while I'm doing this is probably to make this case insensitive, just in case I mistype something. So I'm going to take the text and set it to lower, and then my case can just be desert, all lowercase. I need my colon after that. We're going to take pick image. I'm going to set the image property equal to images dot desert 400 semicolon, and I have to conclude that with a break statement. So there's my first case. I'm going to select that, copy, paste. We're going to change this one to be koala, and I'm going to change my image then to be the koala 400. Going to paste again. This time, this case will be lighthouse. And I'll change the image to lighthouse 400. Paste one more time. This one's going to be penguins. And my image will be the penguins 400. And I can either do another case, or I could do the default. There's only going to be 5 options. I'm going to go ahead and add another case. This one is going to be the tulips. And the tulips 400 will be our image. However, I do have to have a default, and I notice I missed a semicolon here. It's like a little squiggly under the break. So I have to add a default case. In this case, I'm just going to say if it's default, we're going to have a comment say do nothing, but I also have to have a break statement here. So that's required in the switch structure. This should never come up because it's only going to respond to these 5 buttons, and if we coded these correctly, they should all work. Let's test it out. So here's my project. I click the desert button, koala, lighthouse, penguins, tulips. All of our case structures work, and the switch statement makes it very readable for our code.